So now I'm going to show you how to use the rotate tool. And the rotate tool is something that causes a lot of students problems, so I'm going to try and explain it in the most simple way that I possibly can. So the first thing you need to do is select the thing that you want to rotate. So I'm going to select this block by clicking 3 times, and then once I've done that, I need to choose the rotate tool. That's this one here. Now I can rotate it in any way that I want, but the most common ways of doing this are in the blue axis, in the green axis, or in the red axis. Okay, now how am I going to know which axis I'm going to rotate in? Well, that's pretty easy, because this tool, which looks like a kind of protractor, changes color. So for example, if I choose to rotate on the red axis, it will rotate like this. Now if I choose the green axis, it'll rotate in a different way. It'll rotate like that. And if I choose the blue axis, well, you can probably guess by now, it'll rotate like that. Once you've decided which axis you want to rotate it in, you can click on the point about which you want it to rotate. So you've got to think about the center of rotation. Now if I click here, rotating around this corner will mean it'll rotate like that. If I rotate around this midpoint here, it'll rotate like that. And if I can do this, click once, it'll rotate all the way over there and then back again. So obviously then the point of rotation, the center of the rotation, is really important. Now it's also important to know when you're using the rotate tool that you can also type in the angle which you want it to rotate. So let's go back and do what we did before. So I'm going to click just here, and I'm going to click once, I'm going to move out, and then I'm going to click once again, and then it kind of acts like a handle to move the whole thing around. Now at this point I can either just rotate freely, or I can define the angle that I want it to move by typing the angle in. The original position was here. I need to move a little bit just to let Sketchup know which direction I want it to go. Then if I type in the 90, you can see it appear down in the bottom right corner, it'll move 90 degrees. So if I was to do the same thing again, click once, move over here, click again, and move that way and type 90, it would move 90 degrees in that direction. So you need to tell Sketchup where you're going, type in the degrees, and then it'll do the rest for you. This is a much more accurate way to do it. Now it might happen to you once in a while in SketchUp that you get an object like this one, which doesn't actually have any flat surfaces on it. And if you want to rotate that, it's a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to choose my rotate tool, and I'm going to show you what happens. You can see that the protractor still appears, and then occasionally it'll turn red, which means that's the red axis, but most of the time it's black. That means that it can't actually find an axis to lock onto. Okay, so if you want to rotate, for example, in the green axis, but you can't find the green axis on your product, the best thing to do is just draw a little cube, the way I'm doing here, by drawing a rectangle, then pulling it up with the push-pull tool. This then gives you a way of locking onto the green axis. So now I can select my object and take the rotate tool, then move over the cube, and you can see that I can now choose red, green, or blue axis. I'm going to choose green. Now when I hold down the shift key and move away, it'll lock into the green axis. Click once, pull out, and then move slightly and type in the angle that I want to move it by, and it's done.